गुरुर्विष्णुर्गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। नमस्तभायै। अधिमञ्चं विराजमानौ वर्धिष्णु श्रीरामकुलकर्णी शुभं मिश्रमहोदयौ तथैव पुरतः विराजमानाः अस्मत्सहोद्योगिनः आचार्य सौम्यनारायण आचार्य महोदयाः तथैव आचार्य जयरामशर्मा महोदयाः डॉक्टर रविकान्त महोदयाः मम सुहृदः तथैव मम सहोद्योगिनः श्रीकान्त श्रीनिवास प्रसाद जयचन्द्र इत्यादयः। अत्र मातृका विषये कश्चित् विषयः प्रस्तोतव्यः इति आदौ आलोचितं। तत्रापि मम शीर्षकमस्ति मातृका सम्पादने पाठनिर्माणक्रमे अवधेयाः अंशाः के। वस्तुतः मातृका सम्पादने अवधेयानाम् अंशानां बहुत्वम् अथवा अनन्तत्वमेव वर्तते। इयन्तः एव विषयाः इति वक्तुं न शक्नुमः। यतः तत्र मातृकासु पाठभेद कारणानि बहूनि भवन्ति इयन्ति इति वक्तुं न शक्यन्ते। कुतः इत्युक्ते मातृका हस्तलिखिता इति यदा पुरुषसम्बन्धः तत्र वर्तते तदानीम् अवश्यमेव तस्य पुरुषस्य योग्यतानुसारं, नाम सः संस्कृतभाषां न जानाति तथापि लिपिकारत्वेन कार्यं करोति, तर्हि यदा लिखति तदानीं तत्र स्वमातृभाषायाः तत्र प्रभावं स्थापयति, प्रभावेण लिखति, तथा भवति। एवं सः किञ्चिज्ञः स्यात्। कदाचित् मातृका पठनसन्दर्भे तत् पदं किञ्चित् कठिनं, यत् पदं तस्य नावबुद्धं किञ्चित् कठिनं तथा सम्भावितं, तत्र किं करोति, अस्तु मम यथा क्लेशः जातः पठने तथा अन्येषां मा भवतु इति तत् पदस्थाने स्वकीयं पदं स्थापयति। कदाचित् मातृकालेखकः अन्यसम्प्रदायीयः भवति चेत् तर्हि अस्माकं सम्प्रदायविरुद्धम् अयं किमपि लिखति, तथा न इदं शोधनीयमिति वदति, योजयति अथवा निष्कासयति। इत्येवं क्रमेण यथा मनुष्यस्य एकैकस्य प्राणिनः अस्माभिः उच्यते जातकचक्रम् इति उच्यते, तद् भिन्नं भिन्नं भवति। द्वयोः अपि मनुष्ययोः एकविधं न भवति। तद्वत् मातृका एकविधैव इति वक्तुं न शक्यते। कुतः इत्युक्ते तत्र पुरुषभेदेन कालभेदेन तत्र मातृका अन्यच्च कुत्रचित् मातृकासु श्रुत्वा लिखन्ति, तत्र श्रवणे दोषः अस्ति चेदपि तत्र दोषाः सम्भवन्ति इति। गुणवत्ता सम्पादनं कथमिति वक्तुं शक्नुमः। दोषाणां सम्भावना, दोषाणां मार्गाः के इति गणयितुं न शक्नुमः। तावन्तः सन्ति मार्गाः दोषाणाम्। अस्तु तावत्। परन्तु मम विषयः आङ्ग्लभाषायामेव प्रस्तूयते। कुतः इत्युक्ते पूर्वं मम सूचना आसीत् मुख्ये एव मञ्चे मम समर्पणं भवति इति। तदनुरोधेन मया आङ्ग्लभाषया सज्जीकृतं वर्तते। इदानीम् अकस्मात् सर्वमपि पुनः तेलुगुभाषायां वा संस्कृतभाषायां वा वक्तव्यं चेत् प्रयासाधिक्यं भवति। अशक्यमिति नास्ति, प्रयासाधिक्यं भवति। अतः यथा सज्जीकृतम् आङ्ग्लभाषायामेव का नाम मातृका, किं नाम मातृकाशास्त्रम् इत्यारभ्य अहं किञ्चित् आङ्ग्लभाषया उक्त्वा यत्र पाठभ्रंशाः भवितुम् अर्हन्ति तत्र तु अवश्यमेव आङ्ग्लभाषया विषयप्रतिपादनेपि विषयस्थानानि तु तानि संस्कृतभाषाम् आश्रित्यैव निर्दिष्टानि भवन्ति इति तत्र विशेषतः अहं तत्र प्रतिपादयामि। अस्तु तावत्। सर्वेभ्यः एकवारं पुनः वन्द्येभ्यः नमस्कारान् निवेद्य अहं स्वकीय उपन्यासे आत्मानं व्यापारयामि। And of course, this is also intended to reach one of our colleague, Dr. S. Ravikant also. That is also one of the prime reason that I am intending to present in English language. This is also another reason. Okay, now I will start my presentation. Manuscriptology, paleography, codicology is the scientific and structural study of handwritten document credited with fair antiquity. अत्यन्तं प्राचीनं नाम 5-7 प्राचीनं यदस्ति इदानीं लिखितं मातृका इति नोच्यते with fair antiquity. They are the sources of cultural heritage and history. The treasure of wisdom has come down to people in form of manuscripts. Written in different Indian languages, they are spread all over the country in different institutions, libraries, monasteries and temples, and in several private collections. Classification of manuscripts are based on the materials used for writing like palm leaf manuscript, paper manuscript, birch bark manuscript, wood manuscript, Hansipatra manuscript, Talapatra manuscript, etc. And also the subject matter of the manuscripts like Vedas, Dharmashastra, Itihasa, Purana, Mahatmya, Darshana, Tantra, Mantra, Ayurveda, etc. Surveys for manuscripts in the past years identified many collections, and newer collections must be identified and preserved. Conservation of manuscripts is carried out through 33 manuscript conservation centers, besides organizing preventive and curative conservation workshops at different locations of the country as per the priorities. The National Database of Manuscripts, Kriti Sampada, is available on the internet through Mission's website, National Manuscript Mission's website. Manuscriptology is the process of conserving the future for the past. I again repeat this. Manuscriptology is the process of conserving the future from the past. Or for the future we are conserving the past, and for the present and future. It keeps the pulse of the past. It preserves the literary, linguistic, artistic and cultural heritage. It is very essential to conserve manuscripts. By conserving these manuscripts and using information contained in it, it will open a new horizon in the field of knowledge. So, manuscript preservation and conservation is essential. Steps of these types of manuscripts are detailed in this article. And now, how did the manuscripts came into existence? That is what I want to present now. Communication is essential for human existence. It can be conducted by oral and written tradition. The Vedic lore has got both oral and written tradition for transmission and dissemination of knowledge. Manuscriptology or paleography is the scientific and structural study of handwritten document credited with fair antiquity. Treasures of wisdom has passed from generation to next generation by oral tradition and then written on different plant leaves and other materials. Paper usage came popular by the end of 13th century AD. Till then, various other materials are used for transferring knowledge. Manuscripts are one of the types of written tradition and are valuable treasures of knowledge. They are sources of cultural heritage and history. Their proper preservation is mandatory. Rich collections of manuscripts are found in temples, religious institutions, libraries, monasteries, wealthy household, Brahmin families, palaces, etc. Okay, what is manuscript? Manus means hand, script means written. Any handwritten document is called manuscript. That means any book or document or piece of any intellectual work written by hand rather than typed or printed, or author's handwritten or typed that is not yet published is called as a manuscript. And synonyms of manuscript is codex, document, text, script, handwriting, etc. We often find these synonyms in the manuscriptology textbooks. Manuscriptology is the scientific or structural study of handwritten document attributed with fair antiquity. The Antiquities and Art Treasures Act 1972 laid down the legal framework for custody of manuscripts in India. This act defines the manuscript as any manuscript, record, other document which is of scientific, historical, literary or aesthetic value and which has been in existence for not less than 75 years. So this is called as manuscript as per the act. And now, manuscript wealth of India. As per one of the surveys made by Dr. S.C. Bishwas and Mr. M.K. Prajapati on behalf of Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage during the year 1988 to 1990, the following estimates were made. Total number of manuscripts in India are 50 lakhs. Sanskrit manuscripts are 60% of them. Other Indian languages contribute to 25%, and Arabic, Persian, Tibetan contribute to 8% of the total of the manuscripts. Many of these manuscripts are catalogued, but still many yet to be published or catalogued. Historical review in India. In India, from ancient times, knowledge systems were passed down to the succeeding generations through a rich oral tradition. With gradual diminishing of oral transmission and development of script and writing materials, these knowledges were converted into written form such as stone, papyrus, parchment, birch bark, palm leaves, and paper. The art of writing was known to Indians for the last 4,000 years. The treasure of wisdom has come down to the people in the form of manuscripts. Written in different Indian languages, they are spread all over the country in different institutions such as libraries, etc. Manuscripts were copied widely without any restriction in the script that was used to avoid them being lost over the time. Manuscripts were also copied in local scripts and those evolved in time and different geographical areas. Writing material manuscripts may be written on rocks, clay tables, metal plates, papyrus leaves, animal skin, birch bark that is used in Kashmir, bark, leather, palm leaves, cotton cloth, wooden board, agaru bark, and this agaru bark is used in Assam. Sachi, agaru bark like some used in Assam, like this is also used in some places of Assam. Palm leaves, that is Tada and Sri Tada, are being used in South India. And Kadata or cotton cloth used in some places of Karnataka. Inks, vegetable dyes of painting, scribbling with metallic stylus, brushes, stems, pencils, and wooden pens were also used for writing information. Paper was invented in China in 105 AD. There is a claim that paper making is referred to India by Niorchus 322-7 BC. In 8th century AD, Arabs learnt the technique from Chinese. Machines for making paper was started in Italy in 1283 AD and in England in 1490 AD. Now coming to the scribes. Normal writers are called as lekhakas, and pustaka lekhaka, manuscript writers, kayastha lekhaka, account lekhaka, account writers, and shasana lekhaka, royal scribes, and divirapata, official scribe copier. And writing materials, we are, as mentioned above, there are so many kind of writing materials. And surface writing, and we have surface writing and also incising. Incising means that we carve on the manuscript, carving on the manuscript. For palm leaves to paper, palm leaves, birch bark, aloe tree bark, paper, from clay to copper, clay, stone, bricks, leather, ivory shells, cotton, wooden blocks. These are the surfaces for writing. The oldest scripts found in manuscripts are Brahmi and Kharoshthi, and Brahmi is the mother of all later scripts. Brahmi is again divided into following: Northern, Southern oldest lipi, Brahmi, and Nagari. Northern Brahmi, Devanagari, Gujarati; Southern Brahmi, Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Nagari, Purva Nagari, Ardhanagari, Nandinagari, Devanagari, and these are all the varieties of the Nagari. A manuscript has a certain anatomy. The chief portion comprises the main body text. Prashasti or Mangala Charana means the ornamental beginning of the manuscript. In most of the manuscripts, margins are on the left side with special markings are written on the left side, and special markings are written on the left side. And the writing instrument is stylus, pen, brush, or brush with ink. While text and its commentaries are copied, the text is written first continuously, followed by the commentary on one of the verses of the text is followed by its commentary. Or the text is written in the middle of the page and commentaries are written all around it. This is the style of writing the text and commentaries. And pagination. Numbers of pages, individual pages are not numbered, but the folios are given numbers. That's why we find only the number of the folio on one side and the other is left blank. And the two sides are not numbered in a manuscript. Punctuations. The single line denotes the end of the line and the double stark mark denotes the end of the section. Abbreviations such as Bindu, repetition of a letter. This denotes the repetition of a letter. Colophones. The beginning colophon is followed by a salutation to the Ishtadaiva, Ganesha, Sharada, etc. End of the work contains the end colophon that contains information such as the title of the book, name of the author, titles of the author and written period, for whom it is written, etc. Sometimes the number of verses, Grantha Sankhya, is also mentioned at the end. Illustrations and decorations, corrections, religious symbols, floral, geometrical figures and other decorative designs are also found in some manuscripts. Colors used in manuscripts. Yellow. The yellow color indicates the corrections and the red color indicates the chapter ending, the end of the chapter. The indication of end of the chapter or work is made by these is known as Pushpika. Bhonita or preamble, which mentions the name of the book and the writer, is a variant of Pushpika, that is colophon. And now coming to the main point, scribal errors. So the scribal errors are normally deletion of the text, unintentional addition, interpolation. Interpolation means that is nothing but the adding text which is not contained in the source manuscript. Mixing of stanzas, substitution, when the word is not clear, they substitute with another word. Orthographic confusion, that is the swarupa, the structure, orthographic confusion, the mixing of different scripts, and transposition, unintentional transposition of phonemes and words. Corrections, omission. They are marked with the dots or small horizontal strokes placed above or below them. They are enclosed in curved brackets or scored off. Yellow pigment or turmeric may be smeared over them. Additions. Place of insertion is indicated with symbols like plus or a similar symbol like a plus. If it is a simple letter insertion, it is written above the line. Substitutions, replacement, it is written above the portion to be corrected or in the nearest margin against the line. Correction along with the line number may be given at the top or bottom of the margin. Writing in margins typically contains page number, folio numbers, titles of section, additions, substitutions, corrections, etc. because that is only the leftover place in the total manuscript. And coming to the kind of text, autograph, that is written by the author by himself, it is called as an autograph. Immediate copy, transmitted copy and single manuscript. Now let us see how the manuscripts are bound. A manuscript contains a letter of rectangular pages threaded at each end on a string. A palm leaf book is held together with a pin through one end so that the leaves can be fanned for reading. Sometimes holes are bored through each end and the strings are passed through them so that the leaflets can be turned over and read in sequence. Since palm leaf manuscripts could not be bound by stitching, these are generally placed in between two wooden boards or leather pieces or protective covers. All leaves are arranged according to the serial numbers known as folio numbers. The writing on the palm leaf is very small. Most of the information is in poetic form, simple and in colloquial style. It is difficult to decide the writing is in prose or poetic form. There are other difficulties in deciphering the manuscripts. The consonants are written without the dots. In addition, manuscripts face the problems of international inaccuracy, misrepresentation of facts, or defaced, replaced, and deleted words. The name of the author can appear in the beginning, end, or middle. In copied manuscripts, the scribes presents the author as very problematic. Some of the manuscripts does not give the names of the authors. So these are all the problems in identifying the actual author of the manuscript, and we just get the copy of the manuscript and we cannot fix the date of the original writing. This is also a problem because the scribe omits the information containing in the source document. He doesn't want to name the name of the original author and place and time where the manuscript was actually written, but he simply copies the manuscript and at the end he writes that this is copied by so and so, so and so. That's all. Nothing will be attributed there, and it is a very huge task, almost impossible task to find the original author of the manuscript. In some manuscripts case, it is like that. And classification of manuscripts. According to the materials are classified as palm leaf manuscript, paper manuscript, birch bark manuscript, wood manuscript, Hansipatra manuscript, Talapatra manuscript, like that, and Sanchipat manuscript. The manuscript can be again classified into two categories: illustrated manuscripts, and the illustrated manuscripts are those manuscripts that have pictures or illustrations, and non-illustration manuscripts where there is no picture or diagrams. And according to the subject matter, the manuscripts can be grouped as Veda, Vedanta, Dharma Shastra, Itihasa, Purana, Mahatmya, Darshana. This was already told by me. Talapatra manuscripts are usually seen in the form of bundles of 50 to 100 neatly shaped leaves of even size, strung together with a cord and pressed between two wooden boards. Some of the collections also have meter-long cut leaves with mid-ribs intact. This is rare because when the manuscript is being prepared for writing, the ribs are removed. But here, some rare cases, the ribs are intact in the manuscript. But till date, we didn't found that kind of manuscript. It's a different thing. Talapatra manuscripts are mainly found in the coastal states of India, where the palm tree generally grow in almost all parts, can be identified through collection of these manuscripts are dispersed all over India. The leaves of palmyra or palm are dried in a controlled manner and then prepared for writing by submerging in ponds, boiling in water, rubbing spices like turmeric on them. The midrib is often removed and the leaves are cut to make a bundle of folios of even size. Writing and illustration techniques. Surface writing, the text was written with ink on the leaf using a pen or brush. Incised writing, the text was incised in the leaf using a sharp iron stylus. The incised writing was rendered visible by rubbing green leaves or soot into the incisions. Illustrations. Beautiful images have been painted on palm leaves using paint made of earth and mineral pigments with a plant gum as a binder. Bhojapatra manuscripts are usually seen in the form of a bunch of paper, thin folios cut to an even size. These are sometimes bound together with a cord on the sides, though usually they are kept piled up together between two wooden boards and then wrapped in a cloth. Bhojapatra trees and manuscripts are found mainly in the temperate and alpine climatic zone in the Himalayan belt, but their collections are dispersed all over the India. Because keeping in view of the time, I will skip to my main presentation. Significance of manuscript study. Manuscripts are the proof of our well-developed ancient science and knowledge. There are many copies of same text available at different places. Slight difference in each copy makes different opinion of each concept. Thus, the critical study of all available copies will open a new horizon in the Sanskrit field. Surveys for manuscripts in the past years identified many collections, and newer collections must be identified and preservation. Transcription. Reading manuscript as such is very difficult. After writing it to a paper makes the work easy. This is what practiced by in our department also. We just copy that into the paper and then again we study and later on keep the corrections and then get it typed like that. So after writing it to a paper makes the work easy. Manuscripts are available in different languages and one can copy it as such. For example, if it is in the Malayalam, copy it into Malayalam. If it is in Sanskrit, copy it into Sanskrit. Also, vice versa also we can do that. Translation. Converting from one language to another. The need of translation in many local languages are not understood by all for the proper transference of knowledge. Critical edition. Reconstruction of the text. This is what called as the critical edition, and this is the reconstruction of the text. That is restoring the manuscripts to its as far as near to the author's heart, author's opinion. Close reading and detail. This is what called as close reading. Close reading and detailed analysis of the content. It includes two steps: lower level criticism and higher level criticism. Lower level criticism is process of selecting the original reading based on the evidences. It again contains three processes. Heuristics, to discover the methodological collection, analysis and study of evidences. This comprises three stages. Peculiar identification marks are given to the manuscripts. This may be based on a script, source of codex, age of the copy. For example, we can give SVVU 12. That is the 12 or some number is assigned to the manuscript that is in our position. We can give a number like that. Collation, process of collecting all the information about one book. It is usually done with the help of a collation sheet. In the previous days, there are collation sheets and they used to count each and every word where the differences arise. They used to mention every line and a specific stanza, and they record that in the K1 it is like this and the K2 it is like this. Like that they collate all the differences and similarities, dissimilarities they used to do. Nowadays, it is known that people are using Excel spreadsheet for collation also. This is not known to me, and we can even practice collation using the spreadsheet also. Secondary sources of evidence. All works that are directly and closely related to the text are collected and are studied. This may be, the secondary sources may be the commentaries and translations, etc. may be the secondary sources. Recension means critical study of the text. It is the processing of the choosing the reading copy of the matter from various copies. This is by the giving preference to the author's intention. We should know the intention of the author. Emendation, the process of making revision or correction of the text. Meaning of the emendation is the correction of the text. It is done when the author is not satisfied by the evidences that are available. So, when we collect some more manuscripts and collate them, and we don't find the exact text or the final text that is near to the opinion of the author, then we have to we have to amend the text. So we have to rewrite the text and replace some words with the text. But we should record it everything in a clear manner, in a scientific manner. And also the reasons to choose the text, to replace the text, we should record the reasons also. What are the reasons why we should change the text also? The reason should be recorded in this. And a higher level criticism. After the lower level criticism, the higher level criticism is done. Editing the text by taking into consideration of question of authorship, date of author, influence of work in the field, styles, language, literary aspects, sources of the work, circumstance that made the author to create this work, influence of other writers, popularity of works and other are to be considered when we are doing the higher level criticism. Essential features of critical edition: collect the extant copies of the text in original and mechanized form. Decide the mutual relationship and trustworthy of the copies that were collected. Collate the copies. Constitute the critical recension. Accept any one out of many readings as the original. Present the word the critical recension. Description of facts and criticism. As explained above, they are so valuable and they have to be edited critically on the basis of manuscripts available, in which more attention is to be paid on the regional influences. In my paper, I want to emphasis on the regional influences because if we take any grammatical or thing, the people may not be follow. But when the regional influences will come, we can experience it in a easier way. And the attention is to be paid on the regional influences in the language and usage of words for a clear understanding of the subject for the establishment of correct text. As usual in this kind of literature, the language of treatise is not very refined. It will be useless to list grammatical mistakes which deface it, because some Agama texts like that, there will be no kind of, there will be so many grammatical mistakes. But if we start counting on the grammatical mistakes, the editing of Agama text will not complete at any day, because we have to ignore all what kind of mistakes, errors should be ignored. That is what I am going to present here. It will be useless to list the grammatical mistakes which deface it, especially regarding the genders and cases. Genders and cases we should not consider, since that list would appear to be very common. That is common to all the manuscripts, especially in the Agamas. We may also note that some mistakes are recurrent. For instance, datva, 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 takara dvayam, and stupika, 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 or tatopakumbham or tata upakumbham. Actually, it should be written tataha upakumbham, but the scribe has written tatopakumbham. That should be corrected as tata upakumbham, like that. This being the case, we may remember that on one side several mistakes or misspelling are linked to the preeminence given to metrics also. Some kind that is also going to chando bhangam nakuryat api masham masham kuryat chando bhangam nakarayet iti niyamah. That on the other, some copyists have often endeavored to correct the grammatical mistakes. While editing, it would be prudent that wrong expressions or spellings are left untouched. Thus, for instance, either tatopakumbham, datva, stupika, etc. In a sense, these may appear as tokens belonging to South Indian religious and technical literature. The personal and local character of the copies introduces a linguistic factor as well. The language used by the South Indian priest do not belong to the Sanskrit, that is the Tamil or something, whatever it may be. As per the scientific research, the Tamil etc. will be belonging to the Dravidian group, Indo-Aryan group and the Dravidian group, like that. So the Tamil belongs to the Dravidian group. So here the language influence is will be influencing the Sanskrit language, and the same is written in the manuscripts in the Agama text, like that. So that is the main problem while editing the manuscripts. In spite of their often sound knowledge of Sanskrit, the copyists are prone to introduce their mother tongue the mother tongue influences in the copy they are making, especially as regards of phonetics or idioms much against the standard Sanskrit grammar and meaning of the words. Another important factor is paleographic error. In Tamil Nadu side of India, the Sanskrit is usually written in Grantha characters, a Tamil script adapted for reproducing those Sanskrit sounds which are unknown in the Tamil. However, scripts other than Grantha are also used, including some North Indian ones. The result is a multiplication of potential graphical errors, each script getting its own set of them. Some wrong usages such as ardham, artham, artham, ardham, stha, stha, stha in the place of stha, because this is as per the influence of the Telugu language, we will be writing a sthalam or stha. If you miss the dot, it becomes sthalam. And artham and ardham. Ardham is half and artham is the money or something purpose, like that. And that some wrong usages such as ardham, artham, etc. that we come across in the manuscripts are the instances of Telugu influence. Another important factor is the most of the texts are versified, following generally the pattern of classical Anushtup Shloka. Mostly the Agama texts are written in the Anushtup Chandas meter. At the level of writing, it has two consequences. The first is the metrics gain often over the spelling and grammar. As it is told in a well rule, api masham masham kuryat chando bhangam nakarayet. That is used to say, use masha for masha. Do not break the meter here, or literally grind the beans but don't break the meter. Another consequence is the frequent use of ready-made but easily interchangeable expression fitting perfectly to the metrical pattern of the sloka, each making often an 8-syllable quarter of the verse, because the Anushtup is very easy to write. To summarize, basic modifications which can be introduced in a text during copying process with regard to the phonemes, characters, combination of letters as well as words, expressions or metrical units. A very frequent case, for instance, when a mix-up over sonant and cert leads to misspell tadardham. Tadardham is half of that. And actually, the text should be tadartham, due to that, for that, it means. But when it is written as tadardham, it conveys the half of that, or vice versa. In the same way, we find vidhi. For vidhi, in the context of cleaning the streets, vidhi sammarjanam, when the procession of the god is about to arrive, the vidhi sammarjanam, the cleaning of streets should be done. This is told in the text, Agamic text. But when the person who is copying the manuscript is influenced by the Telugu language, he writes that vidhi sammarjanam or vidhi sammarjanam. He thinks that vidhi as vidhi, and again he finds the error. Oh, vidhi, it should be vidhi, not vidhi. There is no word in a Sanskrit like vidhi. So it should be vidhi. So again what he will return the vidhi sammarjanam. So like that text will be vidhi sammarjanam becomes as vidhi sammarjanam. Vidhi sammarjanam means the sammarjanam should be done, but the object is not what sammarjanam, where the cleaning should be occurred is not mentioned, it is left. So in the context of cleaning of streets, a copyist mistakes the sonant of dha for the cert tha and then shortens accordingly the 2e of vidhi to create a nonsensical cleaning of the rules, vidhi sammarjanam, which however fits the verse. Because of the meter, it fits in the stanza, but it doesn't make any kind of sense. And the same way, another interesting thing, the presence of Tamil idioms in South Indian Sanskrit text is not always easy to ascertain. However, a good example is the use of verb tadayet or its derivative tadana instead of vadayet or vadana. When dealing with the ringing of the bell in the rituals, during the rituals in the temple, since the bell is an instrument that produces sound, it is the verb vadayet, veenam vadayet, ghantam vadayet, which is generally used with a normal sentence should be ghantam vadayet. But actually, the scribe, when he is writing, he himself immerses in the meaning and his original language, the expression he expresses in his original language, vadayet, this is replaced by tadayet because mani adi. So adi means you beat that. Vadayet, which is generally used with it, and the normal sentence should be ghantam vadayet. Similar to that, veenam vadayet, mridangam vadayet, and other such phrases. This is being in the case in common Tamil usage. Ringing the bell is said as mani adi, and the verb adi means precisely striking, beating, which it may be literally translated into Sanskrit by as tadayet, ghantam tadayet, ghantam vadayet has now become as ghantam tadayet. This explains why in ritual literature we often come across expressions such as ghantam tadayet, because this is often seen in the tadayet, but actually it is ghantam vadayet. And the same way, the gender of words is often changed. Dadhi is a neutral gender, but it is often written in the manuscripts as dadhihi with visarga as pullinga shabda. That kind of mistakes can be ignored, because if it is changed, the meter will be damaged. So that kind of errors cannot be considered when finalizing the text. And the influence, when writing a similar type of sentences, I am going to present an example where it influences the writer and writes another thing which is not present in the actual text. When the Phalashruti, the purpose of the Phalashruti is written, Vidyarthi labhate vidyam, putrarthi labhate sutam, dhanarthi labhate vittam, yashorthi labhate yashaha. This is quite very good. Rogarthi roganashasyat. Here I will explain. He who wants knowledge gets knowledge. He who wants a son gets son. He who wants fortune gets fortune. He who wants glory gets glory. he who wants sickness become free of sickness. Because here Vidyarthi, Putrarthi, Dhanarthi, Yashorthi. And the similar way, the scribe what he did is Rogartaha. He has to actually written Rogarto, Muchyate Rogat like that. But because the previous precedings are on the Arthi, here he has written as Rogarthi, the one person who desires Roga for him. The last clause looks nonsensical as it appears in the manuscript is just a result of mechanical copying without much looking at the meaning of the words. Rogarthi, who wants sickness. When the original was Rogarthaha, afflicted by sickness. The misreading of the original was perhaps half due to the already mentioned fashion to restore unwanted Sanskrit aspirates. Because he thinks he is already correcting the text in a good way, he has written the Rogarthi like that. So these are some basic and important points to be kept in while undertaking the critical edition of manuscripts that belong to the rituals or like that. So the next thing is publication. It is the final step of the manuscript. Only a few manuscripts are published. The fact that the publication of manuscript is a Herculean task. It is not as easy as we think that we have just a bundle of manuscripts or folios and we can publish it as a standard book. This is not at all possible because there are, as mentioned here, there are so many constraints in bringing out a standard edition of a manuscript. So I take this opportunity to thank our Vice Chancellor for giving me this opportunity to present a paper before you. By this I conclude my presentation. Thank you.